When I first began my coursework, I had little, next to nothing knowledge about being on a Mac computer using Photoshop and InDesign. But using this throughout the course, I think my knowledge and skills have strengthened. My final piece looks more professional and gives off an overall better look than beforehand. All the images are used for a reason, and they're all edited using Photoshop and placed together in either Photoshop or InDesign. Since my preliminary task, I have developed more of an understanding of the forms and conventions. For example, at first I researched into magazines in general. I looked at the title, cell line, colour scheme and position of it all. Then I started researching specifically into music magazines. I annotated a Kerrang double-page spread and placed all the terminology onto it and wrote why I think they used it. I created a Prezi comparing front covers, double-page spread and contents pages. In these Prezis, I wrote what I liked and disliked about these pages. By doing this, I thought it helped me with learning the conventions and putting them together to create my own. In lesson, I had to create 3 mock-ups of my own music magazine. One was Takeover, this was aimed at 14 to 22-year-olds. 2 was Volume, this was aimed at 16 to 24-year-olds. And the third was Alternative Music, which was aimed at 17 to 30-year-olds. With all 3 of these mock-ups, I had to think what genre I wanted to do, how to address the audience with the use of colours, the main image and the cover lines. Depending on all of these depends on whether it attracts the audience to buy the magazine. As you can see in my preliminary task, I didn't know the conventions, so I didn't really use them. So my ability to attract the audience to get the magazine was a downfall. Also, looking at this college magazine is now look boring. It has a plain blue border which makes it bright and stand out, but if I had to do it again, I would use pastel colours so it's more comforting to the audience. It stands out but could do with more work. Also, in the preliminary task, I used all the same font and colour, which makes the magazine look boring and unprofessional, as I found out the magazine editors use different fonts to stand out and grab the audience's attention. For my contents page, I feel it doesn't have enough information on it, whereas the one I created now has a lot more and sorted in sections. Also, I have one large image on my preliminary task with little images in the corner, which I think it takes up unnecessary space, which could be used for more interesting information. I like that I have added 3 images on my contents page and it has divided the page up. It doesn't look too busy and makes the content page look interesting. For my final piece, I searched on Google to help create my double page spread. I done this during the half term as I had none of the softwares I needed to do other stuff on. I created my own one which I think is similar of what my magazine would feature and what my audience would look to be interested in. Also, in the half term, I went and took different images in different locations which I think would work well to be featured in my magazine. I then decided that I would edit them in Photoshop to make the overall image better. Overall, since my preliminary task, I have learned getting feedback, negative and positive feedback, to adjust and make my overall appearance for my final piece better. Through my research and the feedback I've got from both students and teachers, I am happy with my final piece.